Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And this is our true crime power hour where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or sometimes for no reasons at all.
Nailed the intro.
Fucking sure did.
3 years and she's going. And
the foot kick.
You kicked your little hoof.
I know. I got little new sneaks on. Gotta make sure somebody sees them.
I know. I'm in boots and you're in sneaks.
What is happening?
It's like wife swap.
Yeah, but you're never going to see me in like Converses like what you wear.
That's true. But
there's no arch support in that shit. I can't cope.
I was going to say, those are like, they could go to the Converse family reunion, but now you're talking about arch support, which means we're in our late 30s.
No, it means when I was 16, I hurt my back and I've always cared about arch support.
That is true. But speaking of wife swap,
I'm coughing. Hold on. I should really start my episodes and cough a lot and get it out.
With a lozenge.
Maybe.
No, so I love reality TV, duh. Mm-hmm. And there's one that's the 90 Day Fiance where someone's trying to get a green card and come over, get married, blah, blah. And they're doing the last resort. So it's like couples counseling. And they were going and they showed an unaired scene. And the girl was like, she goes, yeah, but he never touches my frog. She calls her vagina.
Her frog?
Her frog. And I had feelings about it. They were like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know. It feels like the texture of a frog. And I'm like... So I have a lot of questions and feelings about
When was the last time you held a frog?
Like a real one? No kidding. You said that, I was like...
Yeah, a real frog.
Probably a dead one in high school biology.
Wow, that was a long time ago. You can't even
say that
because they're not even wet. Right? Like a dead frog.
Ladies, am I right?
That's a dry frog.
I don't know. It's just funny. She goes, I call it my frog.
That's okay. Your accent is adorable. I was going to say adorbs, and then I was like, Heather hates whenever you do that. I was like, adorable.
Oh, no. Well, producer Jess over there texted and said, Welks, instead of welcome.
She's youthful. She keeps us young. She keeps us hip, cool.
Are those words people say?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like I should go watch Happy Days.
Oh, what a simpler time.
Oh, the
Back then, we didn't even have rights and didn't care that we had them.
Yeah, that's what I learned the other day on My Favorite Murder, that women couldn't even get a bank account without their husbands or a male co-signer until 1974.
Yeah. For the longest time, we weren't even like allowed to get divorced even if we wanted to. Because we weren't allowed to be out there on the mean street
crazy.
Solo.
So, yeah, March 8th is International Women's Day. So, go us. Now we have our own day.
Look at that.
I know. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
This won't even air. This will be, hopefully everyone celebrated because this will air like 2 weeks after that.
So that's in 2 days?
We got a Saturday.
Our frogs.
It's a froggy celebration.
Yes. Yes. It's also about to be daylight savings time. I'm really pumped about that.
We need some savings time because I can't believe that I just said that.
Yeah. I hate that we're going to lose an hour of sleep, but I'm pretty excited about some sunlight. I'm going to be honest. I've gone through so much sadness in like the wintertime. I'm really excited for some sunlight. Give me that vitamin D.
Seasonal depression.
It's real. Can I tell you guys the struggle that I went on?
Yeah. Looks like you brought the copy of Moby Dick that's unbound.
I need everyone to understand.
Okay.
The journey. The journey of being a journalist. No, I do not want to disrespect any journalist out there. I understand that I am so fucking not that. But I am doing a book report every time that we do this.
Right.
And holy fuck shit. So I've been working on getting my stories in advance. On Monday, I found my story. I was like, awesome. Got it. Good. I start writing the story on like Tuesday and I'm like, man, I cannot find enough information. It just felt way too much like I was going to speculate a lot of it because I couldn't find like firm evidence.
Right.
Or all the firm evidence was really heavy into court documents. And I was like, you know what'd be cool is if this was my full-time job and I actually had time to fucking read all these court documents. But because I work 17 jobs, I really could not.
You're like, I'm not a paralegal.
I can't do this. So I pivoted and I was like, all right, here's a new story. Oh, wait, no, I go back to an old story. I was like, you know what? I'll grab this old story. She's been sitting on the shelf. It's time. Rip her off the shelf.
All right.
Start typing again. Now we are talking about the second Word document created.
Okay.
Going in there and I'm like, it's also taking me forever to find basic information. I'm like, now I remember why I didn't do that one because I was struggling on finding more historical information. Fuck that. Third story. This third story now hits on Wednesday at 4 p.m.
And we record on Thursdays at 2.
My butthole clenched tight.
Your butthole's always clenched
It
tight.
is, just like my jaw, apparently.
Like a good frog.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I read on the bathroom wall at the gas station.
She got a clenched vagina. Anywho, so I am running off to Hot Works, by the way. If you don't go work out at Hot Works, you should. It's a great experience. Enjoy that red light therapy.
Ooh.
I bump into you there and I'm like, fucking fuck. Oh, right before I left, I picked my third story, started typing up my third story. Already had works cited page. I was getting into it. That third story, I asked Heather, I'm like, have you heard of it? She's like, I'm not familiar with it. We haven't done it. Second, I start getting deep into the, I got 4 pages written on that one. When I fucking realized it's a 6-part documentary series on Netflix. And I was like, fuck. At this point, I thought I was going to just like break down and cry. I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, I'm going to cry. Because it was 45 minutes. I was like, well, let's hurry up and see. 45-minute episodes, 6 episodes. I was like, you cannot do a story in any capacity of justice when there's a 6-part documentary series on it and act like you can pull this out in 4 hours. I was like, motherfuck.
Yeah.
I get home, start looking up a new one. By 8 o'clock, I found my story. Woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to start writing it. We had a networking breakfast. We had to be at it like 7:15 this morning. Came back from that, finished up my fucking story. But can I tell you, this was physically painful. And the last story that I had the last podcast experience that made me feel like a fucking failure as a student was literally just 1 week ago when we were at HorrorCon and we had so much going on and we had our live event. And then literally within a week, we had our Patreon content. We were doing hot ones, which then hurt our stomachs and we were dying.
Jesus, yeah.
And so I lost a whole day that I could have worked on something because I was literally having volcanic eruptions within my body. And then we had to wake up again on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. to get my story together for us to get to Evansville to do HorrorCon. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in college, but I don't have the hookup for Adderall. I'm struggle bussing, but the story's good. And I fucking pulled it right out of my clenched frog. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Uh-oh, she's getting the glasses on. She's getting serious.
I'm getting ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so. What if I said no?
I don't know.
I was like, let's just talk.
I'd be like, just hop on in here. I got to talk to somebody. Okay, so my works cited is Dead to Me A&E Season 1, Episode 4. BBC, a lot of it was from here. There's multiple articles. The Guardian, Maclean's.
I don't know what.
It's okay. Macleans. So it could be Maclean's or McLean's.
Or McLean's.
Who knows? And I'm going to tell you the story of Ashley Wadsworth. Have you heard of her?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm going to tell you now.
That's good.
We have the beautiful Ashley Wadsworth. And I could be saying that wrong. Or maybe it's Wadsworth. I'm going to go with Wadsworth. Even though I watched a whole thing on it.
Now you're questioning yourself.
Who is from Vernon, British Columbia, and was born on July 25th of 2002. She's a dream child. She's self-sufficient, easy, reliable. Her mother, Christy Gentron, calls her lion. She's fierce and loyal.
Aw.
She was ready to stick up for her friends and her sister. She actually gets along with her sister, which blows me away because that's really hard to do whenever you're a teenager. And her sister's name's Haley.
Aw.
She has a ton of videos because of her age. Like, that is definitely I couldn't imagine how many young videos and stuff I would have if we would have had smartphones whenever I was younger.
Right.
So you really got to see just like how fun loving she is. She is really, she's just really beautiful too. And she is one of those super kind faces for sure. I feel like we don't get enough details on the victims, but this time I did.
Oh, good.
So I'm just going to talk about her a little bit. She liked riding horses as a kid, skiing and boating. She was full of energy, adventurous. She was really into sports, super up for anything. I read on, it was wild because I watched the episode about her. And then I was also looking at the McLean's website and they had so much information and so much of it wasn't in the documentary, which I don't know if you can call an episode a documentary, but it wasn't in there So I'm just like, my gosh, this girl was in everything. Like, she played tennis as well. She was just really amazing. And when her sister talked about her, she was like, she was just really that fucking special.
Sounds like it.
I loved her.
Yeah.
She was always outside, and her mother called her Spitfire too. When she turned like, that 10, 11, 12 years old, that's whenever boys start becoming interesting and all that jazz. So she meets this boy named Jack Sepple online when she was 12 and he was 15.
Okay.
He lived in the UK, and I feel pretty certain they met on Facebook. Don't know that for a fact, but I feel pretty good about it. Now, they weren't dating or anything. They were basically just pen pals. Mm-hmm. As they got older, they would talk off and on. Sometimes Jack would be dating someone, so they wouldn't talk at all, and that was okay. She'd be on FaceTime with him in the living room, and her mom would say hi to him and his sister. And so he was basically known within the family. It was apparent they liked each other's personalities, and they just enjoyed talking to each other. For whatever reason, they became far away pen pals.
I had one of those too. For real.
That you FaceTimed on?
Well, they didn't have FaceTime back in the 1940s whenever I did that. But yeah.
That's what I was like, I feel like...
we would talk and call each other and stuff. And he lived in Florida. I actually met him.
Oh.
Yeah. Not like that. Not like that.
When did you meet him?
I had a softball tournament down there. My dad even went with me because my dad knew. Well, I'm still friends with him on Facebook. He's married now.
Oh. Mm-hmm. How does your husband...
I haven't talked to him in years, but
we all got together for Christmas last year.
Right. We sent out a Christmas card. He and I yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I had pen pals, but they were in France for French class, and I don't think I have any idea who the person is. Other than that, I did not. Yeah. No, especially online. Dwayne Maple would have never fucking permitted that. Absolutely not. So, let's see. They enjoyed talking to some degree. They think it was originally just out of interest. She was like, this guy lives in the UK and she's young. And it's how cool is that? Another country. Right. And of course, he has a really fucking hot accent. She's young and he's 4,500 miles away in an entirely different place. And I can see how that would be an alluring kind of situation to get to know someone. Mm-hmm. Since they had talked truly for so long, it felt like they had all known him, even though they had never met him face to face. She started to get a crush on him in the summer of 2018 when she was 15 years old. And they started a long distance relationship. Jack is now 18.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's 18, right?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the age?
It's different whenever you're like that because I feel like your brain's still developing. You would never blink if you heard a 23 and a 26-year-old. But
or 40 and 43.
Right. But 15 and 18, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
So, and you're legally an adult. So,
yeah.
The law books say no.
I don't think they say no in Canada or UK. Oh. I don't know though, because it didn't matter. There was no statutory anything. So
right.
I read in McLean's that this surprised me because this wasn't in the story, and I feel like this would have been in the story.
Okay.
Or in the show. Sorry, I don't want to say story. This is sadly fucking real life. That a little while later in October of 2018, he got her name tattooed on his arm. Now he had a ton of tattoos.
So it was just okay.
I just want to mention he had a fuck ton of tattoos, but he apparently got her name tattooed on his arm. And Ashley's mother thought this was extreme, and she was like, you are not allowed to reciprocate that. And Ashley had said, Mom, I would never. So I'm intrigued that wasn't included, because to me that's red flag fucking football game. That's just fucking everywhere. But
that movie Fear, the
Mark
Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon were forever, Nicole forever, and he's doing this on his hot big chest. He's hot. Anyway.
It's do you want me to leave the room?
Kinda.
Right? I get it. Her mom's a G, and she questions him though. During this time frame, she would ask him what is it that you like about Ashley? Brutal fucking question, man.
It's valid though.
Right. She's coming in hard and fast. And he says everything. I just wish she was here. Her mother, Christy, was not a backseat parent. She was fucking active, aware, and a strong woman. She says that she did have some concerns, but honestly never thought the two would meet. And fucking fair. Canada and the UK.
She's yeah, have fun over there across the pond, sir.
Right. You would never, even at that age, you'd never expect anything.
Right.
0% thought.
He grows up when they break up and works for Ashley Furniture. And he
or
can say
knock somebody up or fucking anything. Get a bitch pregnant, now you're tied to her. I don't know. Anything. Jack always wanted to be texting her on the phone with her, and he was the first person who really gave her all that attention. It's an interesting time just being a youth, and she was also so young, and she simply doesn't know everything about relationships.
Right.
Or like what's normal, what's not, where your boundaries are. Shit, I didn't even know those until I was like fucking 32. Now, at one point, they get into a fight, and Jack, he ends up reaching out to her best friend, Tiana, to try to get her attention. So I guess Jack was, which automatic, I don't know. I'll say more. So I guess Jack was dating people while they were kind of dating, right? Like they hadn't met. So like, were they really dating?
I don't know. That goes back to 90 Day Fiance. They talk about that all the time.
I just don't feel like you're really dating.
Right.
If you've never met, you're not dating to me. I don't give a fuck. But also, who cares what I think? Apparently, people who are listening.
Right.
I'm going to give you my opinion. I think you're not dating.
I care what you think.
So these ex-girlfriends would reach out to her online and basically say what he's up to. And her mom was like, it's hard to expect either one of you not to date. Like, you're young. You're 16, 17. Like,
right. And you're not in person.
Yeah. Don't get mad at each other over this stuff. Like, what kind of, I don't know, fucking rules can you guys hold each other to?
Right. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Come get me. Come tell me I can't do that.
Right?
Jack.
Right? So basically, they'll go like 6 months not talking because he was dating someone or something. The situation kind of like just is, it is what it was. You know what I mean? Like, if he's dating somebody, they don't talk, and they'll talk 6 months later.
Right.
In March of 2020, when they are on a break again, Jack's current girlfriend reaches out to ask Ashley for help. I don't understand how this happened. Obviously, I'm going to guess it's through social media, but I'm surprised that like this girl would know about Ashley.
I mean, maybe she saw the tat and was like, who's that? And he's like, it's...
Yeah, but she wouldn't just be Ashley, I'll find her on fucking Facebook in Canada.
Hey, listen,
I'm going to guess they're just okay, well, I'm going to finish what I'm saying here, and you'll understand that that's not...
Okay.
That's not right. But anyway, I believe that she knew of her through his Facebook and knew that they had like some kind of like friendship, because she was locked in a bathroom because Jack was attacking her and being violent towards her. So she believed that Ashley would be able to like talk him down so that she could get out of the house.
Shit.
Her best friend, Tiana, felt like Ashley knew this had happened before, but it was the first time her friend was actually informed of it. And she was like, what the fuck? Jack was one of those guys that was just easy to blow up about shit, no matter like what guy she spoke to, even if it was a family member. He just didn't know about him. He would get shitty. So she was a tough cookie though. And if he was pushing it too far, she would block him. Like she was like, fuck you. Well, then he would create new profiles on Instagram.
That's what I figured.
And he would start reaching out to her that way. Did you know when you block someone now, you can block them, or you can block them in any page that they create? You think in your mind that like, wow, he must really care. You know, you get in a fight and he's like, I care so much, I'll create this fake page and reach back out to you. And just like, I can see how her as like a youth wouldn't see that for what it was, which was kind of like a bit obsessive, maybe.
Yeah.
Or not really. I mean, I don't know. Because I don't, if they were dating and they just got into a fight, like, I don't fucking know. It was bizarre. Now he pushes it just way too far in March of 2021. There's this voice message where he is freaking out like insane. He's screaming over something that was on his lip. Like, I mean, it sounds like he has just lost his fucking mind. Now, I'm going to make an assumption here, and this is not proven, but it's what it sounded like, that he probably got a cold sore.
Oh.
And that he was pissed at someone for giving him said cold sore / herpes. I'm making that assumption because I get cold sores. So I'm like, that's all I can think. Yeah. There's no other scenario unless a butterfly had landed on his lip and he was angry at the butterfly. I can't figure it out. So anyway, it was so extreme. And Tiana, her best friend, again was like, I didn't think much of it because he wasn't there. Like, yeah, whatever. He lives in another country, so what can he really do?
Yeah.
Who cares? 6 months after his rant in September of 21, she's still madly in love with him and really wanting to meet him. They both just couldn't move past each other. No one was as good as the other person, and who this idea of this person was to them. And so they just kept going back to each other. Now at 18, Ashley became a Mormon after experiencing something special with God. And I just love that for her, that she found her own way through religion, which can be such a hard and confusing thing, and just making that journey all her own. My timelines are rough on this, and I was struggling. Like, I was trying to figure out exactly when this is. So I just plopped that right here.
All right.
Into this.
Works for me.
This little section. In November of 21, the plan to meet Jack is apparently now in full swing.
So this is like what? Like
6 years.
In
the overall, this is 6 years.
Damn.
It's 4-ish while we're talking. But by the time like she gets I don't know, because this is 2021. She gets there in 2021. I did the math and I was like, I thought it was 4 years, but then they were saying on the show it was 6. So I was like, my math didn't math, but I am who I am, and my math often doesn't math.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's true. So she gets a 6-month tourist visa to be with him. And I bet like the excitement on this has to be so unbelievably epic.
How's her mom feel? I'm so invested. Okay.
Good. You should be. And I was saying that I bet that, and I put it in here. I was like, they've been talking for like 4 years, but really it was like 6. She'd always intended on moving out of her hometown too. So her family was excited for her to get this experience. Like, her sister was like, I thought this was going to be amazing for her. She's like, she gets to go to London. A lot of people. So in the UK, they call it a gap year, and they all go. They spend a year traveling, because apparently they're so much better than fucking us Americans, because we're like, get a job.
We're like, start college and high school.
Start getting more debt. Right. Start by getting more debt.
Do you want to buy some beer? No. But can you go to college and get credit cards? Yes.
Right. Her family takes her to the airport, and her mom was honest. She was like, I didn't expect them to last forever, but this is what living is.
Right.
She was like, I didn't think they were going to be, she was going to run off into the sunset, and this was going to be amazing. But she was also my daughter, and she was determined to go, and I wanted her to live her life and experience it. And so she said too, she goes, but like in relationships, like you have to learn these things. And
right.
It just sucks.
Her mom sounds awesome.
Oh, her mom is amazing.
Everyone's
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them are great. Her best friend was super, super overwhelmed by it. And Tiana was like, I don't know why, but I was truly overwhelmed by it. And I had this horrible feeling in my stomach the whole time.
Oh, I hate that.
And she was like, and I didn't know why, but I couldn't shake it. Ashley gets to London on November 12th, 2001 to meet Jack after contact via social media for 6 years now. How epic. They sent a smiley face photo to her mom and said he was so nice, and that it was a great first meeting. The build up for it had to have been unreal.
Right.
Nerves, excitement, holy shit. Not only was she flying there, but she was like, now she's 4,500 miles away from her parents on a completely different time zone. And she's alone, and they're going to like live together. It's wild.
Yeah.
So she moves into his 1-bedroom flat in Chelmsford, Essex, which is an hour train ride from central London. He talks to her family, and they feel reassured by his statements. And he's like, I will take care of her. I will protect her. At this point, like, their family like really trusts him.
Right.
Her dad is mentioned at one point in this, but he wasn't a part. So I don't know if they were still married, like, but her dad was in her life. She snapped her friend, Tiana, and was like, okay, maybe, she snapped her friend. And that's whenever Tiana was like, well, I saw them together. They were showing me all these locations. So maybe I was wrong in my feelings. She's like, everything's great. It's all going to be okay.
Always trust your gut, man.
Yeah. And so she goes to all these cool places in town, and they look happy, and it looks like she's loving it all. He got her a cat too, and they celebrated Christmas together. It's looking good. Everything seems nice.
I hate that it's not going to end well. Because this story, I'm very upset.
This one was really upsetting.
I'm pre-upset.
They were home a lot. Tons of her videos were at the house. Like, she was basically in London for only 6 months, and like, he was not showing her places. Like, when you can go through the photos, she was maybe wearing like 3 or 4 different outfits. So like, that means they weren't out a lot.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah.
And London's really
cool.
And
one of them, yeah. Yeah. I'd be like, dude, we're doing everything here.
Yeah.
At some point, she does tell her sister that they weren't really getting along, but Ashley wasn't exactly sharing why. But you know that she felt pressure in this. It was over 6 years long. Her family knew about it. She committed to going there for 6 months.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing whenever people are like, I don't think they're going to last. And then people stay together longer because they're trying to prove a fucking point. Almost, you know? Like, she didn't want to be told that she was wrong. And she also knew that if anything was really going on, her parents would get involved and send her home.
Yeah, it's really weird that I talked about 90 Day Fiance because a lot of it is the long buildup, the long distance, the commitment without knowing, with all the unknowns, like a lot in their families and their friends, and a lot of it is very similar.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And her mom was like, if she had told us what was actually happening, she knew that her father and I would have intervened and we would have had her come home. Yeah. If she wasn't ready for that, or didn't want it to happen, she probably felt like she just couldn't tell them.
Right.
In late December, Jack attempts to kill himself. He overdoses on his own prescription pills, and she freaks out. She calls her sister Haley, and she gets an ambulance there. He's in the hospital for like 4 days, and she is just so fucking distraught from it.
Right.
He obviously lives and gets to go back home. Ashley is devoted to helping him through it. And in her mind, like, she loved him so much that she was going to take care of him, and she could change him. You know, the version of him, though, that came back was different. He wasn't very excited about anything. He was depressed and down, and there was like a complete shift in him. Mm-hmm. She was only 19 and has to like deal with all of this crap.
That's
like,
heavy.
And I say crap, but like, she's so young.
That's heavy, especially for
another country.
A 19-year-old. It's tough at any age, but being solo. And even though you know someone
and you solo for the first time in your life.
Right. Too. And she knows someone for 6 years, but being in person with anyone is different.
Right.
So I can't
that's
even. Heavy.
I think too, the time zone difference. So like maybe 10 o'clock, 8 to 10 a.m. is like 3 a.m. at home. Mm-hmm. So like there's a huge time difference there that like really fucks with you being able to talk to your family while you're awake.
Right.
Anyway, so she starts talking to her mom less in January as everything's happening. She reached out to a Mormon church while she's there looking for some help in managing the situation. Her friend from the Mormon church, which she had decided to be like anonymous. So I'm going to have to just keep calling her the friend from the Mormon church. I don't know her name. Her friend from the church had invited her back, like to keep going to church more frequently. And she had started attending more and asked if she could come weekly. And she was like, I'm going to have to ask Jack and see if I can, but I'll try. And like the girl was 19 and she goes, that was a huge red flag to me. Cause I was like, I don't want my boyfriend telling me what I can or can't do.
Right.
She started warning her friends that he was watching her texts and what they said. And so like, he also had her delete her Snapchat and her TikTok.
Oh.
So she said that so Tiana was like, I got a text message from her that said, watch what you say to me. He's watching me now. And then deleted the message.
I would have flown a plane myself over to get you.
So then they started, her family was paying attention to how she looked and she started looking paler, like she wasn't getting out of the house kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that she was just really solemn. There's a specific photo, if you like Googled her in this whole thing, there's a photo where you can literally see that just her smile is unlike any smile that she has in any other photo anywhere. And I'm like, I don't know her and I can sense she is not the same.
Oh, where they smile and it doesn't like reach your eyes.
Not in the slightest.
Like it doesn't reach your eyes at all.
Not in the slightest. And every other photo of her is like.
She sounded very vibrant. So I hate that he took the life out of her.
It was amazing. On January 10th, 2022, she calls her sister crying, saying that he threw a glass at her head. I heard that it was a glass. I heard that it was a beer mug.
Shit. That could kill you.
Completely fucking different.
Hit you here?
Yes, completely fucking different. Her sister begs her to come home, but she just loved him too much and believed that once more she needed to be there to support him. Haley, her sister, is like, you need to come home.
Right.
14 days later, on January 21st, Jack isn't even hiding the violence from her family. They're on FaceTime. And he literally, in FaceTime with her sister, her mom, same space type of deal. And he starts throwing shit at her head. Remotes, fucking random ass things, screaming through his teeth and like just ranting back and forth in the room.
In front of her, he didn't give a fuck.
At this point, it had become daily, though that's the only time that they like.
Still,
I get it. A week later, this is where the cat is out of the bag. A week later, she's on FaceTime with her sister, and Jack literally out of nowhere just runs at her, throws her to the ground, and starts punching her in the head. Her phone drops from her hand. Her sister is watching this. She goes, the camera fell, and I'm just watching him punch her in the head. And she's like, I'm calling and I'm getting help right now. So she hangs up. She calls her mom, and they're like, her mom calls, and then she answers the phone. I don't know how this shit happens, because the panic from a parent this far away.
Right.
There's nothing you can do. You can't just get there. The worst part is the year. It's 2022. What does that mean? Fucking COVID regulations. So she had called during that altercation or whatever. And she was like, this is fucking done. I'm putting the word fucking in there, but maybe her mom looked badass. She probably fucking said fucking too.
Right.
She was like, none of this. You're coming home. No more. And they all agreed, and they booked her flight.
Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts. The Western Kentucky Outdoor Expo is coming to Owensboro Convention Center on April 12th and 13th. Explore RVs, boats, hunting gear, side-by-sides, and more, all in one place. And best of all, it's free. Don't miss this ultimate outdoor adventure. Learn more at westernkyoutdoorexpo.com or follow us on Facebook. We'll see you there. It was 3 days later because of the COVID test that she had to get. So they're on the phone, like her mom is on the phone, and Ashley and Jack, and Ashley asks Jack, do you know where I need to go for my COVID test? And he goes, yes, which was her mom was like, all right, I feel good. I can see that he knows that she's leaving. And her mom goes, if I do not hear from her or you, I'm calling the cops. I want you to understand that. And they were all like, yeah, heard.
Okay.
So on February 1st, 2022 at 2 a.m. Canadian time, her mom tells her she'll call her in a few hours. She's like, I hadn't slept yet. I was going to bed. Haley gets a call from her sister at 3:30 a.m., but she's asleep and she missed the call. Just before 8 a.m., the couple's next door neighbor, Helen Burstenshaw, heard Ashley screams through their shared wall, and Ashley comes over there barefoot crying, and she had blood dripping from a cut on her palm. She said that Jack had hit her and destroyed her phone. He'd thrown her kitten against the wall.
Oh.
She worried he was going to kill her, but asked the neighbor to not call the police. Obviously, she's worried he's going to get arrested or it's going to escalate the situation. I don't know. She did, she agreed, but she did go over there to talk to him, and he said that he was so sorry and that it just got out of control and that it won't happen
never
again.
do it again.
Well, the neighbor had a doctor's, I'm sure this neighbor feels such a way. She had a doctor's appointment. So she had asked Ashley, do you want to come with me to my doctor's appointment?
Right.
Like, Lee,
get out of here.
Get out of here. And she was like, no, it's fine. So the neighbor had to leave.
Well, she at least tried.
She did, but it won't matter for what else happens.
Right.
At 11:30 a.m. UK time, a text goes to her friend saying, hey, it's Ashley. My phone is broken. I need your help. This is about 3:30 a.m. back home. She's reaching out using Jack's social media accounts. Her friend Tiana reads all of her messages, and she's asking her to reach out to her church and that they'll know how to help them. So she's reaching out to Tiana at 3:30 in the morning. She had do not disturb on. She woke up at 8 o'clock, saw the messages. Her sister was asleep, didn't see him. She wakes up to all the messages. On top of that, her friend from the church, they didn't have internet at that particular day. It was a Tuesday. She goes, I got home. I turned my internet back on. I don't understand how that works. I don't live in the UK. And she goes, and I found all these messages that were to the church's Facebook page. They were from Jack. They had a photo of him and Ashley on it. And they said, please hurry. This is urgent. Here's my address. I need you to come get me. Can you please come help me? I need you to come here. I'm in danger. I need you to hurry up and get here. That was 3 hours after the messages were sent. They hurry up and they call the account. And of course, nothing happens. The message responds back, I'm fine. Thanks anyway. I got it all sorted out. I just needed a COVID test.
I don't believe you.
They don't either. Tiana had reached out to Haley, her sister, and all of them are trying to get a hold of Jack, and he's not answering. Her friends from the church go to her house, and they say they hear something, but he's not answering. And so now the friends at the church are on the phone with Haley and her mom. Tiana is also somehow in communication. So even though they're not there, they're a part of this now experience that's happening.
Right.
And so her mom's like, call 999. It's fucking devastating. Haley somehow ends up getting on the phone with the neighbor. And I don't know if it's this neighbor or it's a different neighbor because of the way their house is set up. It's like a duplex here kind of deal. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor just lets her know that Ashley had been stabbed to death. She calls her mom hysterically, and the cops ask her mother to describe her daughter when they get on the phone with her. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'm sorry, but we found her body.
Oh, Jesus.
Ashley Wadsworth, who was only 19 years old, was strangled and stabbed to death that morning, and she had over 90 stab wounds. They believe it was closer to 100, but they stopped counting after 90.
Oh, my God.
She was already deceased by the time her friends and family were able to respond to those messages. So she was already gone. It fucking sucks.
I hate that.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Later that day, Jack had changed his Facebook picture to a photo of himself and Ashley and captioned it, "Forever Mine." In the bedroom, he recorded a video that was never sent but found by the cops later. He was breathing heavily with Ashley's body in the frame. He said that he loved her and was sorry. Quote, "I couldn't ever let you leave," he said, addressing the body. Quote, "My head was fucked. I'm so sorry, Haley, for taking your sister." He recorded a video with her dead body for her family.
Oh.
Her father had to head to England to get her body while her mother was planning the funeral, and it took 3 weeks for them to get her back. Mm-hmm. Her mother and her sister said that they didn't even believe it was like real until they could see her body. They were like, I have to see her body. So for 3 weeks, they're still like struggling mentally with like coping with what happened.
Yeah.
On February 19th, her family has her stuff and they start to go through her Snapchat. This is fucking brutal. So she got there like late November. Mm-hmm. She had taken videos of all of the bruises and he had beat the shit out of her.
Oh, no.
Bruises everywhere. Only equivalent to like truly a car accident or getting jumped.
Holy
that
shit.
Many bruises all over her legs. One on her arm that's like the entire length of her arm. In that video, that first one was taken December 28th.
And she got there, when did you say?
At the end of November. And that was when he tried to kill himself.
Oh, my God.
Worst part is that Jack was known for this and showed these signs of behavior before. Until court, Ashley's family had no idea how terrible he was. Now, in the video I watched, they didn't even mention the fact that fucking Jack's mom and Ashley's mom communicated. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I don't want to say friends, but they talked.
They were acquaintances.
They
for
were
sure.
acquaintances.
Yeah.
When Jack had killed Ashley, he had messaged his mom and was like, I killed her. And she's like, what do you mean? Why? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Long story short, why the fuck Jack's mom didn't tell Ashley's mom that her son was so abusive,
right?
To not come and be away from family,
right?
When he has so many issues. So he had a relationship with another woman from South Wales, and he took naked photos of her and then hacked her Facebook and put them on her Facebook account when she was 14. Now that would be like, she ended up getting a restraining order against him, and that's now revenge porn. So we know what that is.
And child. She's 14.
Yes.
Oof.
So, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, they say that, and I'm like, oh my God. So revenge porn only became a thing over like the last fucking
very recent.
It's very recent because this was 2022. But that, I mean, she was 14, so it was probably 5 years before that.
Yeah, but still, fuck.
So he breached the restraining order by sending her an Instagram request. And then when the restraining order expired in 2017, so back in 2017, this bitch waited a whole 6 minutes before contacting the victim again.
6 minutes?
After the restraining order expired, which was probably a year.
What the fuck?
So waited down to the day and waited 6 minutes to contact her.
There's issues there for fucking sure.
Yes. Like with Ashley, he also tried reaching the victim through her friends. The following January, he sent her a message that read, quote, "Please reply. You are never going to get rid of me, even if I have to go to prison over you. I'll see you soon, and I will turn up wherever you live." He ended up serving a suspended detention sentence. He continued to do things like this and kept getting sentenced into young offender institutions like over and over again. He ripped a fucking door off its hinges over a fight with his mom over his Xbox. He locked a woman in his house and threatened them. She ended up climbing out of a window. As a kid, middle school, so that happened twice. He had locked women in his house twice.
What the?
The first one was the one I talked to you about. Mm-hmm. This is a separate one. As a kid in middle school, he would literally throw tables.
Middle school?
Middle school. He lost a video game. And then he went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife and started cutting his wrists. And then a mom, it said a mom, I don't know if it was like the kid's mom or his mom, had to like grab him and stop.
Whoa.
Intense ass behavior that happened over and over and over again.
Yeah, there's a pattern.
Yes.
Jesus.
And that's why I'm saying, and that's why like her mom ends up saying like, I know that she did not do it, but why she did not tell another mother what kind of son she had.
Yeah, she knew.
She fucking knew. And they did not know at all until they went to court and they had to list it at court. They had no idea. So the defense's only chance is saying that he had a psychotic break. Obviously, right? That was the only option. And they get a report done on him, but they don't even produce it in court, which means that there was only...
It didn't help them.
No.
If they didn't say it, it didn't benefit their case.
Right. It made him look worse.
Man, I have questions for his mom. Like, now I'm just thinking about, like, I don't know. It just... Like, you saw that happen in middle school. If you try to cut your wrist over Mario Brothers or whatever, like, something's up in Pirates Cove, and then it keeps happening and happening. I'm not parent blaming her because I'm not a parent, but like, what did you do?
I mean, he kept getting sent to places, but like at I agree. Like, I don't know how much. I mean, he kept getting sent to places.
Shit.
So I don't know. He was on anti-anxiety meds. At one point, he said that he was on drugs, and that's why he did it. But whenever they did the toxicology, he had a little bit of marijuana and his low-dose antidepressant.
That's not going to make you stab someone 100 times. And
right.
That I can't. Okay.
So because of that, he ends up pleading guilty, and he gets a minimum of 23.5 years. They don't believe he will ever get parole because of how much evidence there was in the violence of the crime. So, like... Her mom said, I'm happy he got life, because in her mind, she was like, I'm going to be in my 70s whenever he comes out. Not to mention, I don't live there. She goes, thank God. Like, she's like, he's in another country. I couldn't fathom, like,
all right.
All of that shit happened and it was terrible, but it was also like cross country. So maybe, I mean, BBC had so much of it covered, but I'm like, maybe it doesn't ruin her life back home. I don't know, because, you know, losing a child and all of that and the publicity of it, they're never the same. You cannot heal from this. You cannot get better from like, it's just horrible.
And this one comes with extra like layers of probably guilt that doesn't need to be there, because they said, you know, they wanted her to live her life. You have to watch your kids fall, and you're just supposed to be there when you pick them up and all that.
I'm going to talk to you about that too. And you're completely right. You're completely right. Not to mention that, but actually, I'll just jump to it. Her mother blames herself all the time. She said that she could have told the police the day that he hit her. She could have told the police and let them know and had them take her from the space. Like, the level of like remorse from it all, also for the simple fact that like they saw the abuse.
Right. But who knows what they would have done? Sometimes, like, there used to be a law where the cops couldn't arrest a man unless they saw it.
They didn't say arrest. None of that. They were saying, we should have told the cops to get our daughter out of there.
Yeah, but I just feel bad. Shoulda,
it wasn't
coulda,
to
woulda.
arrest the guy.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but like,
I get it.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. You're always going to think that in any situation.
Of course.
I
should have been awake at 3:30. I shouldn't have fallen asleep whenever I did.
It's, yeah.
What I'm surprised about too is like, She was so scared and she was trying to get help, but was there no way to contact the cops, or did she just not even think to do that?
Or she might have been scared to do it, like they wouldn't get there in time, or maybe, who knows?
The cops would have gotten there faster than any of her friends that weren't responding.
I mean, true.
Right. I think it was she didn't want him to get arrested. She didn't think he was going to necessarily kill her, and she didn't want him to get arrested.
Probably. I mean, she's young. She was young, too.
And in duress.
Right.
Even while he's serving time, he keeps trying to get a hold of Haley.
Still?
Like, he has tried to get like a legal phone in the situation so that he can contact her. And she had said, she said the only thing she would ever want to know was what her sister's last words were. She goes, other than that, I just want to I would just call the cops so he could get even more time in jail. He also wrote a letter of apology to the family, and none of it
was a self-serving apology.
Try to mitigate himself, try to create empathy so that they would somehow feel bad for him. An impossible feat in itself.
I figured as much. Asshole.
So I grabbed this from the McLean's CA website. It's also going to be in the show notes. So check out their article. There's a program, if you will, in the UK that's called the UK's Domestic Violence Disclosure Scheme. Scheme sounds wrong to me, but okay. It's known as Clare's Law, and it's designed to deal with exactly this by permitting police to disclose the criminal history of convicted abusers if they believe potential victims are at risk. The law is named after Claire Wood, who's an English woman who in 2009 was killed by her partner, a man police knew to be violent, and he'd served prison sentences for harassment and restraining a woman at knife point. So it works in two ways. The right to ask, where you can apply and give information and ask about somebody. And then the right to know, which is way harder. And that's where the police would actually contact you if they knew you were in a relationship with somebody that was violent. In theory, it's great. It provides this kind of transparency to prevent you from entering a relationship with a violent person. But it's way harder than that. They get so many applications. It's impossible for them to respond as quickly. One of the comments that they have is that it takes 35 days to get a response. So if you were thinking about dating somebody and you had to wait a month and 5 days to get the report back, you could have already gotten in the relationship with them. Then sometimes applications are denied because like they don't have proof that you know the person that well. So like, let's say I have something against Drew. And I request to know information about Drew.
Oh, God.
And the reason I'm saying it is to actually find out shit about Drew so I can post it on my Facebook page and take him down.
I hate that something good that would actually benefit and save lives.
Well, they're denied.
Can be. Oh, they're denied.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was explaining why.
Yeah, they still have to take the time to process those and even deny them. So even so, like,
so they said like the delays is like 2018, there were 3,479 requests. By 2020, there were 8,438. So the other one, only 7% of the Clare's Law requests in 2020 were actually like responded to, which was like 36 out of 529. So it was way better in theory than it was for people to actually be able to like manage and keep up with it. The other part too that the mom like struggled the most with, Christy, I believe it was Christy, was the fact that she couldn't get over the fact that she never looked into him. That was her biggest issue in her, like, yes, she says, and she goes, I have to live with this every day. Like the second I knew it happened, I should have fucking pulled her out of the house. She'll call the cops and gotten her out of the house. Number one, out of the house. That was it. Get her out of the house. Number two, she goes, I cannot believe I didn't look him up before my daughter flew there.
Right. It would be hard at that time though, because like you said, they trusted him. They talked to him online. They felt like they knew him. So it would be hard to think otherwise.
Right. But she even had said early, and she goes, you never know someone until you meet them.
Right.
And so she was saying the whole time, like, she didn't think her daughter, like, she was gearing her daughter up for like her heart being broken because you don't really know someone until you're there.
Right.
But in the same sense, she didn't think
maybe I should go
look him up
or go with, I don't know. But I feel bad for her family.
Oh my God, I do too.
Her best friend and her sister and her mom. That's awful.
I feel the worst for them because they're the ones like,
right.
And you can't and she said it 1,000 times. She was like, her mind was made up. You cannot, she was just such a like, She was a good mom. There was a good
Right.
sister, was a good friend. They were supporting her in what she wanted to do. They just had no idea that he was a monster.
Right.
And that he was known for all of this shit.
Right.
Though, once more, all the warning signs were there.
Mm-hmm.
All of them were there.
Right. Man.
It just fucking sucks. And that's a sad story of Ashley Wadsworth, who was killed by her boyfriend, Jack Sepple,
So is he
recently
like forever in jail or
for
prison?
23.5 years.
And that's it?
I mean, that's when you go out for parole, and he's not going to get parole.
Okay, good. Okay. I was like,
There's
like
not a
it's
no parole, but they were like, dude, he's not going to get it.
good because if he was 19, then or she was 19,
He was
then he was
23.
22 or 3. Yeah. And then so I'm like, that still gives him a lot of
He's only
life
like,
to live.
53 or 56. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want him back out because if he, fuck, I'm mad. I'm really mad now.
Yeah, this one sucked.
Mm-hmm.
This one really sucked.
Right.
His eyes are really far apart. He's a frog.
That's how
But when
we.
you
That's our
look him
trauma
up-
response comedy.
Right? When you look him up, though, for real.
I really want to see him.
And I can't wait. He has tons. Oh, I don't know where my phone is. But
He's a
the
frog.
photos are there. But he's a frog. His eyes are so far apart that the first time I saw the photo, I thought it was an AI generated photo. Because you know how they're doing that dumb AI shit?
What?
I was trying to see like what she saw too, because she was so stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, maybe the accent, and he was really tall. And he had some like hardcore tattoos.
I guess, but now all I picture in my head is that sloth from Ice Age.
Yeah, that's
That
a
his
good
eyes are like.
that's a good way to put
That's
it.
the only thing I can picture in my head.
It's just, I think when you're so young too, it's so hard because all the feelings are so intense and you want someone to give you all this attention. You're receiving all this attention.
Right.
And like, he's volatile, but in your mind, it's like, oh, he's a bad boy. And he gets so like emotional and passionate about
Right.
like our love. When really he, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's obsessed with Haley.
He's something.
I think he has gotten, like, once he killed Ashley, his new obsession became Haley. Because it's her sister and they look similar. Like, they totally look similar. Ashley is super sweet. And she honestly truly looks like my old intern, Tommy, who's a female. Looks just like her.
Oh, wow.
It's creepy. So I started getting super sad and I was like, I'm going to message her. Just make sure she's good.
Right.
And her sister is super edgy, tons of tattoos, big neck piece, all of that. And her sister's just like edgy and badass. And I don't know, like, why else? When he killed her, he thought to then record a video in front of her body. Insane.
All of that is nuts. Man.
It's sad. Once more, like, you cannot. The things we talk about all the time is to trust your gut.
Right.
If you're gonna, I love living on a whim and like trusting your heart and like putting yourself out there, but you also have to look into people as
Right.
well. I don't have any like great moments of like, oh, lessons learned here besides going from the loss of the mom and her and her sister and being like looking in like. And I don't know that I would have ever thought it if it wasn't the fact that they had said it. They were like, we should have looked into him.
Mm-hmm.
Not just his Facebook page. I would have never, I want to be honest with you, I would have never thought to run a background check on my friend's boyfriend. Now, if they were going to move, I'd want to think I would have thought about it. But I don't know that I would have. Because like you said, 6 years of being on FaceTime with him.
Right.
You feel like you saw the boy grow from 15 to 23.
Yeah. When I first started dating Will, I was like, oh, I actually like this one. And I may or may not have looked into his background.
No, you told me that.
Yeah. That was for all them. Okay.
I'm like, yeah.
You're like,
do
I know
it.
we're best friends. No.
I understand,
I
but
know
like,
what you mean,
you
yeah.
had reached out to somebody and had them pull a background report, right? Because you had some, but see what
No,
does
I
everyone else
get
do?
it. Like Google, well, when you first started dating Travis, I knew everything about him probably before you did.
Well, you knew him too, though.
No, but like I was, but like
I didn't.
I know, but I'm just
But
saying.
that's what I'm saying, though. It's
some
like
people
other
do
people-
and some don't, and I'm just fucking nosy as it is. But
I did not.
yeah,
I'm like, I'll take my shot because I would have done what Ashley did.
right. Yeah. And
100%, I would have done that at 19. 100%. And I would have had
Oh.
my decision, my mindset on it, and there would have been
Right.
no stopping me.
At 19, I was looking at being an au pair.
I don't even in Miami.
go
You don't
be-
even like kids.
I know, but I wanted to, you know what my goal was? And I'm not even
Just
joking.
sleep with the dad.
Not to sleep with them because I only slept with Will and that's it.
Right.
No, but like I think I like the Australian accent. And I was like, I bet there's I'm not joking that there's a hot dad over there and I could go for 6 months and live. I'm serious because you only work 3 days and then you're off for 4 days. And you have a place to stay. You just have to hang out. And you could pick the age range for that. Anyway, I'm not promoting this, but I'm just saying at 19, you're kind of like, the world is my oyster. I'm going to go and do, and I have nothing to lose. And she felt safe with this guy. So like, I would have done it. Like you
Agreed.
went off to Miami, like you said. I was trying to go to down.
My dad tried so hard to get me not to go. And like, I get it now, but I was like, mine made up, man. I'm out. I already paid the dues to go to that college. Like, I'm going.
And who knows for that mom? What if she was like, you're not going? And she's like, cool, I'm going anyway. And she could have cut her off altogether.
Yeah.
Like, she's in another country, you know?
They were just so close.
Yeah, I get that. But, you never know what would happen if she would have tried to stop her.
Right.
So it's just like, you're not going to date that guy.
And that's the thing that we see it all the time when we talk about it. And then sometimes we can be uppity depending on the like storyline and everything.
Right.
Where we're like, how did the parents not get involved? How did they not do anything? And it's like, dude, if you also see that your fucking kid is headstrong on it, you're going to let them make their mistakes. You're going to let them live their life. Like if you're a loving parent, you it sucks to watch your kid get hurt. I understand I only have stepkids and I get that. But like, I never want to see them get hurt, but you're also just like, you have to live your life. I have been hurt a million times and my parents couldn't prevent it.
Right.
You know, it's just your journey. And it just sucks. It just sucks.
Right. Well,
thanks for listening.
this is, we're good parents. At least you're a step parent. I'm like, I have a dog.
And I like to think I'm a pretty banging stepmom.
I mean, I think you are.
The important thing is that Jay loves me. And so I'm like, he doesn't have to. There's no requirement for him to love me. So knowing that he loves me feels really good because I'm like, he chooses to love me.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
There's no requirements. But anyway, please make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe. Do all those things because it's an importante.
Yeah.
If you ever thought it wasn't importante, just know it's important.
It is.
Importante.
Just hit that little subscribe button. It's free. It didn't cost anything.
Right? And it's
Right.
easy and it's fun.
And for the cost of a cup of coffee a month, you could get extra content from us.
I feel like you were whispering in that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I gotta lower. It's
For
sultry.
an extra for a cup of Joe,
Cup of Joe
you can get some private time with us.
and her frog. Okay, we got
Hard pass. No, okay. Love you guys. Please make sure to love us too publicly.
This is your cue.
Yep. Don't get mad.
Get sassy.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, A Couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?